This week on Pivot with Purpose, she asked me a few times if I was open to working with her. I just got curious. And you know what they say about curiosity? Curiosity killed the cat. She's like, yeah, I'm patient. And I don't know if she said this on the episode, but she's like, you'll come. You'll come when you're unable to function. You're gonna be so sick. You'll need me. And I got home, and within a couple of weeks, I was anxious. I was unable to function. I was on my ass. And for 11 to 12 days, I couldn't function, y'all. This is happening. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Pivot with Purpose. Yes, that's the episode that we're on. Thank you so much for coming back again. I wasn't here last week, and I'll explain why in a minute. But if you follow me on social media, you probably have a good explanation as to why. Today's a solo episode. It's just me. We're going to get into some of the things that I've been going through. We're going to talk about witchcraft. We're going to talk about psychics. We're going to talk about God. We're going to talk about toxic relationships. And we're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to talk about all of that in this episode, I think. I'm hoping that I will. I keep pushing back the fact that I want to do a solo episode here at home. And I get scared. And right now, literally, I'm in my pajamas. If you're watching the video, I have my little Fenty one piece. Should I lower it a little bit? No, let me just stop it. It's a little checkered one piece. It's so cute. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I wear it now all the time. And I just hit record. I said, I'm going to hit record. I have a little bit of an outline and let's see where it goes from here, because I love doing solo episodes, but I don't do them often because I don't know, I get in my own way. And I always tell people, stop getting in your own way, do your outline, hit record, and let's go where it's going to take us. So here we are for another episode. Before we start, you guys know that I love to shout out everyone that's taking the time to leave an Apple Podcast review. If you have not yet done so, please do so. Please go to Apple Podcasts on your phone, on your boyfriend's phone, on your girlfriend's phone, on your mama, daddy, sister, auntie, brother. Go on their iPhone and leave an Apple Podcast review. And it could be something as simple as what Brite82 left on here. She says, content is spot on. This podcast does an amazing job of unpacking. Listen, I don't know which unpacking you're talking about, but I have a suitcase right here from Mexico with my equipment that I still haven't completely unpacked. So I'm glad that the unpacking we're talking about here is internal and not the actual unpacking of bags that I have not done yet. So let's get, right into the episode. Where have I been? Where have I not been? It's so funny because I'm like, who am I? I have been on planes. I have been traveling. My life has definitely been picking up. And I just got back a couple days ago from the Bahamas. You guys know I went to Mexico for the trip with the ladies, and that was an amazing trip. But I do have to, I will be bringing up some things that I think affected me from that trip as well. I went to the Bahamas with Mandy. Since Mexico, I stopped drinking. So on my birthday, Cinco de Mayo, I got wasted. I thought that I was 21 years old again. And I was taking shots back to back to back. If you go on my social media, there's a boat day reel that I posted. Hi. Had an amazing time. It was so good, but I forgot that I'm not 21 years old and that alcohol just is not my thing anymore, right? If there's one thing that really came out of some of the manipulation of my last relationship was that he didn't like for me to drink, especially drink with my homegirls. And I had stopped drinking or had cut back on drinking. I was drinking wine or whatever. And now I think back at it, I'm like, what was it? What was the problem? What was the problem? Sorry, but whatever. I did cut back on drinking, but now because of my heightened anxiety, and the things that I've been through, alcohol in excess. Again, this is not just I can't drink at all. Alcohol in excess does make my anxiety flare up. It makes it really hard to even function afterwards. So in Mexico, literally on the drive home from the boat after drinking, I had a really bad panic attack. And you couldn't tell me I wasn't about to die, which usually happens with a panic attack, but I didn't die. Here I am. So after Mexico, I was like, drink is just not going to be my thing anymore. I'll have a drink here or there, but I just don't need to be out. And I had already changed that part of my lifestyle anyway, but I really took a step back. So after the retreat, I got home, and yes, there have been a series of events that have happened within my personal life and with people around me. One of the biggest things is that in the past year and some change, year and 3 months, I have been putting up some serious boundaries in my life. And we talk about these boundaries, and we're always like, what did you talk about? Like, it's just so many boundaries, right? And when you have not had boundaries for 30 plus years of your life and you've been a people pleaser, now you implement these rules for your life that people have to, you know, to live by, and they have to respect, and they don't like it. And this goes to partners, family members, your children, friends, work. Like, you have to implement these boundaries, and it's not easy. So I came back home to some bullshit, per usual. And that made me, very anxious. And I'm dealing with all of these things. One of them being on Mother's Day, my baby daddy showing up with a camera recording me. One of them, my first one. I don't care. Like, at this point, I really don't care. Recording me. And I'm like, what are you doing, sir? Like, what is going on? All because I asked you to help with your daughter because she's acting up, like she's being a teenager, what teenagers do. So help. And he showed up with his phone recording, and that was just, that heightened me some. Just family and work, and I couldn't function. It got to a point where I couldn't function. I wasn't able to eat. I wasn't able to have conversations. I wasn't able to work. And my body, because of hyperventilating, started doing what it's done before, which is where my stomach, well, I can't digest food. And then I start getting full of air. So if you go on my social media, I put a highlight reel that says anxiety update, and you'll see my stomach, it's just, it gets really big and really hard. I get really bloated. And thank you to everyone who's like, oh my gosh, do ginger, or take this medicine here, or drink these greens, which is all great, right? It's all great. But I also am very aware that this is directly correlated to my anxiety and having panic attacks. When you're hyperventilating and I'm crying and I can't eat, and then I try to eat and I can't digest it, your gut is the first thing to feel it. And that's what was happening to me. So I spent about, I would say, 11 to 12 days just down. So, reason number one why we did not have an episode. So I wasn't feeling well, and things just got really bad for me. I had to, get help with the baby. And during all of this, it's happening, and I'm very upset about the fact that, man, I'm really doing this by myself. So it became a whole thing. But going to the Bahamas, I went to the Bahamas, and I had this conversation with one of my closest friends, Mandy, who loves to drink. She's a drinker. It's her thing. It's something we've done since we were in 2011 when we met in the clubs. Um, I had to have the conversation with her before we got there. I'm like, hey, I want to speak to you before I get there. I'm not drinking on this trip. And shout out to her. She was going to talk shit regardless, but she's like, it's fine. We went and we had a great time. I had my mojito mocktails. I did share like a shot or two with her. The last day I did drink a mojito before I left. And we had a great time. She called me a pussy asshole. I don't know how many times the people were saying that I wasn't drinking. But when we left, I'm like, well, so did you have a bad time because I wasn't drinking? And she's like, no, we had a great time. And we really did have an amazing time. We went on a yacht. We were by the beach. We went to the pool. We went to a jazz bar. We hung out at a rooftop. Like, we had so much fun. And every single morning I woke up early because I had to broadcast radio, which I have, like, this little machine that I have here next to me. Because at this point I am broadcasting 2 times a week from the studio and 3 times a week from home or wherever I'm at in the world. And this is an amazing partnership, and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, compromise that I came down with the radio station, which I'm super grateful for, because they could have just been like, we'll find somebody else to do it. They could have been like, we'll get somebody else to do it. You go home and do what you do. And they didn't do that. They were like, well, if that's what you need, we got you. And I'm like, thank you. You guys are amazing. I will keep, using my voice for what I do best, to talk shit. No, I'm just kidding. So that's what I've been doing now, broadcasting from home. Then I get to take the baby to school a lot of the days, and which I really love, but it does require me to get someone to help me in the mornings to drop him off to school. So if you've been thinking about cutting back on drinking, and this could also come with age, y'all. I'm 36 years old, so my body changes. So if I have to cut back on drinking a little bit, I even cut back on smoking. I feel like sometimes we just need to reset our bodies. Like right here, I'm drinking out of my mommy's sippy cup, and it's a big old glass of cold water. Love it. Sometimes we need to really reset our bodies, and I know a lot of like hardcore smokers sometimes we'll be like, oh, I'm not smoking for like a week or two so they can like start feeling high again because your tolerance just gets really high. And I get it. I understand that. So I needed to reset my body for the past month, and I'm slowly, I think today I'm going to go get tacos because it is my daughter's 18th birthday. Which is also 18 years to the day that I got cut open. I was 18 years old today when I had this baby, and I want to celebrate that for me. I want to celebrate it for her. Unfortunately, we're not seeing eye to eye at the moment, but I'm the type of mom that I'm gonna let you do you, to a certain extent, of course. And I'll always be here and I'll always be reaching out. But us as teenagers are such a complex species, honestly. I remember back when I was 17, kicked out of my house, then 300 and not 365 days, that's a year, you dummy. 18 years ago. 18 years ago today, I was walking into a hospital not knowing, oh, I'm going to get emotional. I was walking into a hospital not knowing what to expect. I was a kid having a kid. And let me tell you how that used to piss me off. People would be like, oh, you're just a kid having a kid. And I'm like, I'm grown. I know what I'm doing. I'm over here pussy popping on a handstand. Like, I've been taking care of myself for a couple months, but was I really? No, I was in an apartment with a man that his parents paid for the apartment and so did student loans, which is her dad. Um, and yeah, I was on my own. But was I really, was I doing everything? Was I an adult? No. But I got it done. I feel like uh I had to. I did what I had to do. And there's a different sense of responsibility when you're about to take care of another human being. So I remember walking into that hospital at 6 a.m. because they were gonna induce me. And I was there for about 18 hours. A lot of 18s, 18 years old, 18 hours. It was at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., something along those lines, when they had to take me into emergency C-section to have this little girl. She was 4 pounds flat when she came out. Within a couple of days, she was like 3.5 pounds. She stayed in the NICU for about 3 weeks. She was special. She was like my little miracle baby. Such a special kid. Such a special kid. Such a smart kid. Um, and it's always been me and her. It's been me and her. Her dad and I separated when she was going in kindergarten, going to first grade. And day in and day out, it was me and Ayana, day in and day out. So I'm just so grateful that we made it here. We made it here. It hasn't been traditional, but there's not a damn thing traditional about me. So, she graduated high school early. She is in cosmetology school. She is opinionated as all get out. She deals with life. She was a COVID kid through high school. So I can't even imagine how hard it must be for her because I was a jock. I really was a jock. So we're two completely different people. And I love that about us. So if you have a kid and you're just like to your wits end with your teenager, I feel you. We need like a teen parent group. Woo, because we need help. We need mental, emotional help because this shit is hard. And I'm sure our parents thought the same thing when we were teenagers, which is why I do have some grace. But at the same time, back to these boundaries, we've had to set these boundaries. We have to set them for everyone because people have to respect them. Now, the boundaries don't have to be hella crazy, right? They just have to be for you and what you need. Like for me, I have rules. I have rules in my home. Excuse me. Ugh. I have rules in my home, and I have rules for myself within my parenting. I don't allow other people to come in here and just tell me how to parent my children. I think that it's true. Mama knows best. Also, mama knows best includes reading and getting advice from right people. It's not that I just was born knowing best. I need to also consult other people and other parents and become a better mother every single day. Who I am today as a mother is not who I was, last year or the year before that, or when I was 18 years old having this baby that's now 18. So I have evolved as a mother again, and now I have a second chance to do it all over again with my son. And I'm a totally different mother. They're gonna know two different versions of their mom, and that's okay. I can't relish on the fact that I was so young and didn't know any better back then. But bitch, we made it. We made it, and we're here. And so happy birthday to my little girl. I hope she's having the time of her life. And you guys will see me turning up with her very, very soon, hopefully. Now, in Mexico, I did something. We're gonna shift here, and y'all are gonna be like, whoa. In Mexico, I brought on a psychic healer, and her name was Daniela. She was great. Amazing girl, amazing girl. Now, here's what I will tell you. I believe in psychics. I believe in mediums. I believe in people that do tarot. I believe in all of it. And I believe in all of it because I truly do believe that they are tapping into a spirit. They're tapping with spirits. I feel like they have a connection. Um, Ever since last year, when I came back home from my last relationship, I think I was holding on to anything. I was trying to find anything to find myself. Once you come out of an abusive relationship, especially a narcissistic abusive relationship, you lose yourself completely. And I'm gonna try to find this. Let me see where it's at. Mandy sent it to me, but so did Laron. Guys know Laron Prophet came on the show, and he always sends some type of text message with like Instagram or some type of tweet. And the tweet here was, okay, I'm gonna have to look at it from Mandy. Here we go. Twitter. And it's from at Tammy Kajay. I'll link the tweet onto the show notes. And it says, ending a relationship with a narcissist is not like a regular breakup. People always ask victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse, why can't you just move on? Why can't you get over it? Why are you still thinking about this person who treated you so bad, who mentally abused you? And you can't verbalize why, because it's like, where do you even start? The fact that you fell in love with someone that never existed, and now you have to mourn the loss of them. The fact that they conditioned you to be someone that you don't even recognize in the mirror anymore. How do you explain the guilt that you feel for letting go of this person that made you feel like it was your job on earth to save them? How do you explain the anxiety and loneliness that you feel from not having them there? Because they're the person that soothed you after they done mentally abused you. How do you explain that even though they lied to you and fed you empty promises after empty promises, that you still had a tiny bit of hope in your head that maybe they can change? How do you explain the anger that you feel, that you can't let go of knowing that you were manipulated from day one? This is traumatizing. So there's a few things here that I'm going to touch on in a little bit, but the biggest thing is that I lost myself. I lost who Carla was. I just, and you're like, what do you mean you lost yourself? Like, you're walking with yourself, you forget who you are. And it's something that you cannot really explain. Those are some of the best words that I can see it put together. For me, I just can't explain it. It's just who I was. That confident girl was gone. I questioned everything about me. I still question the decisions that I make. I still question if I'm a good mother to this day. I still question, am I a good woman? I still question, am I a good business owner? Am I a good boss? Am I a good leader? Am I a good person? Period. There are plenty of times where I talk to my friends or I journal and I'm like, is something wrong with me? It must be something wrong with me because the people closest to me are turning against me. And as I spoke with my cousin about this, just boo hoo, booger crying everywhere, I have had to build certain boundaries in this journey of mine for the past, year. I've had to tell myself, no, I am not going to accept disrespect. I am only going to give you one chance. I don't like when you speak to me this way. I don't like when you misuse me. I don't like for you to take advantage of me. I like open communication. If you can openly communicate with me, then we can no longer move forward. So I have these boundaries set in place. And my biggest thing when I came back was I needed to find myself. So going back to this part, I needed to find myself. So instead of turning, like I've told you before, to sex, drugs, going out, or just anything that was detrimental to me, I turned to journaling, therapy, church, but I also started tapping into tarot reading. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get a tarot reading. And I was like, oh, like different spiritual aspects of everything, right? So then I also did an interview with Gigi over in Atlanta. She's an astrologist, and we talked about, the different personalities, and the astrology chart and things like that. And then right after that, I go to Mexico and do this interview with Daniela, who I found online. When I first spoke to her, I wasn't too in tap with her like psychic aspect of it all, but I knew that she would help people heal trauma. And I thought this was awesome because if anyone has trauma, it is me. I am trauma. You look up trauma, you'll see my face. They're like, ding, it's me. Trauma, Carla. Right, it's my face. So I bring her on and she is great. She's been through some bullshit herself and she is, getting herself out of it and helping other people get off of it. Now, while we were doing this recording, but you go back to the episode, I won't even take the episode down because it happened and it's there. She asked me, can she read my energy? So she does this thing where she's like, oh, I'm opening up, whatever she's opening up. And she tells me what she's feeling is heavy. She feels like there's some cord cutting that I need to do. Someone's holding the back of my neck. And if you watch the video, I'm a little hesitant. I'm like, I'm just listening because, I'm just listening to what it is. And I'm like, all right, enough is enough. She closes it off and she gets like sick from it. Um, she asked me a few times if I was open to working with her. Now, here's the thing, for content purposes, I've been exploring these different methods and spiritualities because one, I want to show you guys different things through my platform, but two, for myself, I just got curious. And you know what they say about curiosity? Curious people, curiosity killed the cat. She told me two things. And again, I don't think she did any of this and with ill intention, but I am a woman that truly fears God, and my God is Jesus Christ, right? The Holy Spirit. I'm talking about Jesus, the Bible, Christianity. That is what I was born into. That is even today as an adult when I can choose my religion and I can choose who I praise. Um, it's Jesus. So she's like, yeah, I just remember the words of her saying, I'm patient. You and I don't know if she said this on the episode, but she's like, you'll come when you're unable to function. You're gonna be so sick, you'll need me. And I'm like, girl, I have been anxious before. Like I have been through it all. I'll be fine. And I got home, and within a couple of weeks, right when I got back that week, I was anxious. I was unable to function. I was on my ass. And for 11 to 12 days, I couldn't function, y'all. I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. And all I kept saying was like, God, take this away from me. I couldn't eat. This is when my stomach was getting big. And I'm just focusing on trying to get rid of it. I'm like, I'm stronger than this. I'm stronger than this. I can do it. I can do it. Like, get over it, Carla. And I couldn't. I couldn't. So Sunday comes around and I was tired. So tired. I couldn't work. I wasn't even going into the station. I couldn't work. And one of the days even Paola brought me a Xanax to here to the house while I was broadcasting in the morning because I'm laying on the floor losing my shit. And she's like, here, take this piece of Xanax. And I'm taking it, and that day I was able to work for like an hour and a half and then it was over. I didn't feel well. So the next day on Sunday, I said, I have to go to church. I can't just watch it online. I have to go to church. I've been out of town now for a couple of weeks. I got to go. So I got dressed with my son. We went to church. And that Tuesday, I was leaving to the Bahamas. On Saturday, I was contemplating canceling my Bahamas trip. And I went to church. And y'all, this message from Pastor JJ was everything. Y'all know I love Journey Church Orlando. Pastor JJ Vasquez is the pastor. And it wasn't anything that I don't already know. It really wasn't. But it was really talking about gratitude and us just having gratitude, we can't pour from an empty cup, and we're just trying to find ways to fill this cup back up with water, right? We have this cup and we're like pouring onto people, pouring to myself. We're pouring onto people, and then the cup is empty, and then we're asking God, please refill my cup. How am I supposed to make more episodes? How am I supposed to be a better mom? How am I supposed to lead my team? How am I supposed to show up to work? How am I supposed to do any more stories? My cup is empty. Well, this cup in the video is actually not empty right now. I still have some water in it, but the cup is empty. Where? Like, I'm like, fill me up, God. I'm even playing the Tasha Cobb Leonard song, Fill Me Up. Fill me up, Lord. And the cup is empty. And the Lord started saying, hey, instead of asking God to refill you so you can pour more, just start being grateful. And that's what I got from the message. It's like, oh my God, I have been spending almost 2 weeks just saying, God, get rid of this anxiety. God, make my stomach go back down. Get this pain to go away. Allow me to be a better mom. Help me get back to work. Like all these things that I need to do, instead of just saying, you know what, God, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be in Mexico with those beautiful women. Thank you for my home. Thank you for my lights being on. Thank you to my clients paying their invoices. Thank you to the paycheck that I get from the radio. Thank you for there being food in the refrigerator. Thank you for my feet. Thank you for my voice. Thank you for me being able to open the door and seeing outside. Thank you for my vehicle, because sometimes we take our vehicles for granted. Thank you for allowing my car note to be paid every single month. Thank you for my equipment. Thank you for my hands. Thank you for my neck. Just I'm just being like, God, just thank you. And I kid you not, when I left church, I felt better. I felt better instantly. Monday, I went to work. I packed my things. Tuesday, I was in the Bahamas. Just I was a new woman. It was Tuesday morning when I started documenting the anxiety things, and Mandy was like, "Friend, if you can't come, like it's okay. We can cancel." Da, da, da. And I'm like, "No, no, girl. I'm talking about it now because I'm able to. I've been unable to talk about this, publicly, but it's something that I definitely want to. I like to tell my story. Um, so why am I correlating this to me playing with shit I wasn't supposed to? I know better. Once spiritually you are intact with the Lord, don't play with him. Don't play with him. Don't play with him. Don't play with him. Because you know what fountain you need to tap into. I know what Bible I'm supposed to read. I know where I'm supposed to get filled up. And it's not a tarot reading. It's not an astrology chart. It's not psychics. It's not mediums. It's not any of that. It's God for me. If you are not where I am in that spiritual journey, please find it, which is part of the reason why I did everything that I did for content purposes, and because I was also trying to like, oh, let me explore this here, let me explore that there. The Lord knows where I'm at. But no, 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 no. That's not what it is. The Lord made me so uncomfortable until I came back to his house and realized that this is where I belong. And this is not to say that that person can't help you. No, but if I go to the Bible, and Leviticus 20:27, the New International Version says, a man or woman who is a medium or spiritist among you must be put to death. You are to stone them. Their blood will be on their own heads. That is very like, oh my God, that's a lot, right? And it is, and it is. But I knew better. I knew better, guys. And if you are in the same place where I am, then you know better as well, right? Galatians 5:20 says, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, and divisions. Get rid of them. Isaiah 8:19, and when they say to you, inquire of the mediums and the necromancers who chirp and mutter, should not a people inquire of their God? Should they inquire of the dead on behalf of the living? No, leave it alone. As much as I would love to go to a medium and find out what my dad is thinking right now about all the bullshit that's going on, I won't. I keep asking why about certain things, and God's just like, girl, calm down. Stop asking why. Just let it go. So I don't know where you are on your journey, but for me, And my belief, the only thing that has been able to soothe me, the only thing that has brought me happiness and peace inside is going to church and believing in Jesus Christ. So I say all that to say, I ain't gonna be messing with that shit no more. It's not for me. If it's for you, those are people that are, in their field and they do great in their field. But I will say from my personal experience that the only place where you need to go is to that Bible, is to church. If you don't have a church of your own, go online. Just go online. If you're here in Orlando, go to Journey Church. And I implore you to find a local church, because watching online is cool, but there's nothing like walking into that building and that anointing hitting you. You feel it in your soul, but you have to believe in something. We have to believe in something. When you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for anything. And that's been my personal experience, and you can go back to when I first started this podcast 6 years ago, and I'm a different person from then to now, and who knows where I'll be in a year or two. But what I do know is that the one thing that's been a constant in my life and faithful is God. And that journey for me has also looked crazy, right? I've been in relationships, and I've doubted him, and then I've been up there, but that's what podcasting is, right? You're kind of just hanging out with me. It's crazy, but we're friends. I'm talking to you, you're listening to me, and and we'll realize that we all have something in common, and that might be that maybe you also were trying to find yourself, and we've been looking in all the wrong places at times. When really, when things got really hard, we just needed to lean into Jesus a little bit harder, and just Jesus, 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 Jesus. Like, even my baby, those days that I wasn't feeling well, boy, let me tell y'all, my baby, Psalm 91. Psalm 91. He was good. And he was there for me, and I would be breaking down, just boohoo crying some days, and he'll come to me and he'll hug me, and he'll pat me on my back, and he would just come to me. Like last night, he was like rubbing on my arm and my chest, and he'll just like come and kiss me and walk away. And I'm like, who is this baby? Monday, when I was feeling better, if you also look at that highlight, the anxiety highlight, I documented a little bit of it, because Monday, as I was just, my spirits were high and I felt better, my baby had a 52-minute tantrum, an emotional cry. Nothing made him feel better. Not a banana, not his Mickey Mouse. There was no food. There was no bath. He cried 52 minutes. He didn't want me to touch him. He didn't want me to hold him. It was awful. And let me tell you something. The day before, I would not have been able to deal with that, because it is extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Debilitating, honestly, as a parent, to see your child go through that. Oh, sorry. I have like allergies or something. It's really hard to not lose your cool. And then I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, 18 years ago when I had my daughter, I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the tools. He's 2. He cannot tell me how he's feeling, his feelings. I can tell it's emotional. And as I sat back after finally he calmed down, I said, he has been, oh, I get emotional. It's so weird because I'm in this room talking to myself. He had been bottling up all these feelings. And for the past 2 weeks, he was there for me. He held strong. He ate his food. He went to bed. He was such a good baby. And this day, he was just like, Mommy, I need you now. And I was there for him. And I didn't lose my cool with him. I didn't scream at him. I just let him cry. I walked away from him and I came back and checked on him. And when I was away for too long, he would come and find me in the room and look at me crying, like screaming at the top of his lungs, and just at least see me, that I was still around, and then run away and go cry somewhere else. And then I would come back and try to rub him. He didn't want me to. But it's just crazy how our children can take on our emotions as well. So we've been doing better. I went to the Bahamas. I came back. I did this Memorial Day weekend. I took him to a resort here in Orlando that I have planned to take him to. And we just did pool day, chicken tenders and French fries and fruit and waffles. And, there's not an expense that I spared, because at 2 years old, he has taken on that pain for me. Same thing with my daughter, regardless of what she's going through right now emotionally, that girl has stuck by my side. And I don't care how mad she is at me right now. One thing I know about her is that she loves her mom. And there's never been a day where someone can do something nasty to me and she won't be there. But, you know, I love my children. and I'm always going to be here for them. And I just want to remind everyone that, y'all, God is so real. God is so real. He loves us. He loves you. I just want to remind you that you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, y'all. I'm mourning two people in my life right now. That is the hardest things to mourn. My mother, and I'm mourning two people that are alive. My mother and my ex. And my ex, really, on the standpoint that I'm raising a baby by myself, and that is really hard to do. And upholding my boundaries with both of these people is so difficult. It's so difficult because I could very easily just run back to my mom and say, just be my mom. I'll do whatever. I'll take whatever disrespect, but I'm 36 years old. No, thank you. I could just go back to my ex and say, I'll take whatever disrespect. Um, and then to make you happy, but at what expense? At my Is that really what I want? No, no. But it's really hard, mourning those people that are still alive. And I talk about this. I think I've talked about it on my lives and I've journaled about it. That is probably one of the hardest things I've had to do in this lifetime. I've gotten into physical altercations. I have made money. I have lost money. I have started businesses. I have closed businesses. And this is by far the hardest thing I've ever had to do. To watch someone move, breathe, and them not be the person you thought they were. Ooh, how difficult that is. How difficult that is. So if you're going through that, I feel your pain. Um, it's really hard to let go of. I would love to, dive into more of what this is because, and not too deep, because there's a rise of a narcissism in our society right now. And when they throw out the N word out there, people are like, nah, I'm dealing with a narcissist, or you're such a narcissist, blah, blah. It makes me twitch. It makes me angry because I am coming from a place where there's someone that was diagnosed by a professional. No one can be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder by just you because you were dating him. Some people are just fucking toxic. Honestly, they might just be toxic. There's a difference between narcissistic personality disorder and the spectrum of narcissism. We all have a degree of narcissism, right? Like, in order for me to do a podcast, in order for me to be on radio, right? You have to believe at some point that you're better than someone else at something, right? At work, sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm the best at doing this or whatever," and that's a level of narcissism in a way for you to go maybe to, like, let's say, try to date someone or be on a dating app and think that they're gonna swipe on you. That takes a level of narcissism and for you to believe in yourself. But that's a healthy level of ego. I have here like the difference between narcissism versus narcissistic personality disorder and how to tell them apart. And it's because narcissism exists on a spectrum. So if you take accountability and have insight and establish reciprocal relationships, you may have some narcissistic traits, but this is not a narcissistic personality disorder. So the concept of narcissism refers to like continuous, where you may believe that you're superior and that you prioritize your needs above everyone else and at the expense of others. This is really important here. It's someone that thinks that they are better than everyone else and their priorities come before everyone else at their expense. You're willing to move forward even if they're falling behind. You will step on them to get to where you need to get to, and for you to get what you want at all times. It's very different than someone that wants to do, just wants something good for their life. So when these narcissistic traits and behaviors are in multiple areas of your life and they extend for a long period of time, a therapist can formally diagnose this, but it's very rare that ever gets diagnosed because people with narcissistic personality disorder don't think there's anything wrong with them. So why would they ever go to therapy? Um, right now, I'm dealing with both of the parties in my life making themselves known and poking at the bear. But let me tell you something, there's nothing better than not reacting. Don't react. It's so easy to react. My mother has shown up to the front of my house, not here to speak to me, twice. That's very triggering for me. It's very triggering that you would pull up to my house and not even say anything. The reasons why you're pulling up is to trigger me. You want me to lose my shit. No, 3 times now, actually. You want me to lose my shit. You want me to be upset. You're not going to get it. As much as I would love my mother, I spent years trying to go to therapy. I spent years trying to have these boundaries. I actually came back and y'all did me dirty. So no need to go back there unless there's a significant change. And then there's something very toxic about my ex that he does, and I don't care. Maybe I might have Stephanie take this out. Maybe I might not. He likes to stay relevant in my phone by sending messages or certain old videos, um, and just sending messages like, "Hey, how's Sam doing? How's Sam doing?" I can just scroll through my phone. How's Sam? He's doing great. Bless. A week later, hey, how's Sam doing? He's doing great. Bless. It's never been, hey, how's school? Any new progress? Does he have any new words? Is he potty trained? Does he need clothes? What does he like to eat now? Is he allergic to anything? None of that. He knows nothing. My son hasn't seen his father since January. And something that happened recently is that my door has always been open. It's been now 2.5 years. My son is about to be 2.5 years old. And I'm very open to the fact that, hey, the door will be open. Just, show that you care and also help. You're not going to be coming in and out every 6 months. It's now been 6 months that he's seen him, hasn't had a FaceTime call, a regular phone call, a video, a gift sent over, nothing. 6 months. My son doesn't know who his father is, unfortunately. And he asked to come see him this past week. And I said, okay. I said, no problem. All I ask is that you give me enough time in a couple of days, not just a day ahead. Let me know when you're coming. I need to make arrangements. You and I don't speak. We're not friends. Just let me know, when you're about to come, and I can make arrangements of maybe leaving you guys here. I can find something to do. His response was, yep. All right, cool. Um, when I was coming back from the Bahamas, I decided to extend my trip, and I got a phone call that he was in town. Why are you in town? Oh, let me know when you're around. No. What happened to letting me know? That is a boundary. People that are narcissistic, that have NPD, they don't like boundaries. They don't like to respect you. They want to keep you in this constant heightened sense of anxiety. And by popping up on me, it's going to keep me on edge. All I asked was that you give me time to prepare and to make plans. Now, since you never hit me up, I made plans. And now I have plans to go to a resort. I have plans to relax. Like, you coming here, you're not going to change my plans. Um, and some might say that don't understand this, might say, just let him come by. Just change your plans real quick. It's not that big of a deal. He flew all the way over there. No, I have plans. And my plans are not changing. One, I stayed an extra day. And two, now I'm going to a resort. And that doesn't include you. I'm sorry. If you can't respect something as simple as letting me know, hey, I bought a flight, I'll be there on this day at this time, what are you really coming for? Is it for him? Or is it to upset me? Or is it to keep me on my toes? I'm not a silly girl. I'm not. And I am not thirsty for any type of attention. I'm chilling. I'm living my life. And my life is pretty damn good right now. So if this is something that's happening to you, I tell you, hold on to your boundaries. And it's not like they're ridiculous. It's very easy. Send me a quick text. Let me know what time and date you're coming. It is, and this applies to anybody in my life that might know where I live. You're just not gonna pop up to my house. I won't open the door. Period, point blank. Have some respect. You can't just pop up to my house. You can't just pull up whenever you want to. You can't just rearrange my life because you feel like you can. No, 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 no. And that's part of like that narcissism. And that's when that falls in. That's the difference. If you think to yourself, yo, I might want to give someone a heads up that I'm coming, or they might have plans, and you actually care that someone else might have something going on, you don't have this problem. But if you have someone in your life that just really doesn't respect you or what you got going on, then you might be dealing with this. And it's so hard because then as an empath, I'm like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Am I not? No, I am doing the right thing. I have years to come. Years. My son is only 2. My daughter's only 18. We always talk about, oh my God, when they turn 18, that motherfucker only 18. We got a lifetime to go. It's very possible I won't be here tomorrow. I could just kapoosh tomorrow. Who knows? We don't know the time frame that God has for us. But all I know that is that every day that I'm living on this God-given earth, I will be respected and I will treat others the same way that I would like to be treated. I don't expect to pop up into somebody's house and for them to just change their plans and let me come in. I would never do that. And if I did and they told me no, I can't be mad. I can't be mad because it is what it is, right? Like, I can't expect for people to just change their plans because I'm in town. Hello there. Do what I want now. Doesn't work like that. So that's really, what's been going on in my life right now. I am working on my boundaries even more. When you start working on that, a lot of people, and especially those closest to you, will start being hurt by it. They will rebel against it. They will want to walk away from you for some time, but hold on to them. Keep those boundaries and they'll come back. They'll either respect them or they'll choose to not respect them. And you don't have space for that in your life. I don't have space for that in my life. And I'm so thankful that I have such amazing people around me. I have the best tribe in the entire world. I have friends like Mandy who say, hey, let's go on vacation. It's still your birthday month. I have friends that will pull up here like Paola and say, take this Xanax. Or I'm like, hey, let's take the kids to this hotel and we're out. I have friends like Carla who send me thongs because they're like, you're 36, wear a thong. And I don't know what I'm going to do that. If you like thong bathing suits, they're amazing. It's called It's Thong Season on social media. She's a wild girl. I have May who I talk to about almost anything. My May, she's amazing. Who am I forgetting? Gina, I talk to her and I cry to her all the time. I have Wendy. I don't even know where I would be without Wendy. And I know there's so many people that in my life God has placed them there at the right place, right time for me and my children and my business and just life. So love on those that are around you. When we're in our 30s, it's really hard to make friends. So those friends that you do have, hold them close, love them, tell them how much you love them on a regular basis. I love my friends and I love you for listening, honestly. The fact that you just are gonna sit here, it's like 45 minutes of me talking. Whoo, girl, shut up. Shut up. um, per usual, I am going to close out with a Bible verse and I'm going to keep it within the same realm. I'll just pick one real quick. Revelations 18:23. And the light of a lamp will shine in you no more, and the voice of bridge room and bride will be heard in you no more. For merchants were the great ones of the earth, and all nations were deceived by your sorcery. Y'all just lean into the Lord. Um, just give him a chance. Give him a chance to work. He's not a microwave God. Jesus is not a microwave. We can't just press defrost, beep, beep, beep. I got a microwave again, so it's kind of dope. It's like it has defrost and it has the soften melt and all these. So cool. I haven't had a microwave in 11 years. So just if I start talking about microwaves on social media and on here, just give me a second. But our God is not a microwave God, and we have to give him a chance to work. And he's not always going to answer our prayers when we want them answered. Again, it's not a microwave. He's going to give us what he believes is best. And sometimes, most of the time, actually all the time, that's better. So stay away from anything that's not of him and give him a second. And if it doesn't work for you, which I know that it will, but if you're just like, this isn't working, try something else. I promise you that you'll come back. And if you don't like what I'm saying, there are other podcasts out there that are more open minded and that like to explore and work with other things. And that is your prerogative. But you can always come back here and have fun with me. So I'll see you next week and I'll be back with some guests. But I'm going to try to do these solos a little bit more often just because I need them for me to sometimes como que desahogarme. I don't even know how to say that in English. Desahogarme, like just kind of let it out. Just let it out. I'll be around. You can follow me on social media at Carla Ramirez. If you want to ask me some questions about this topic, I'll be talking about it on the next episode. Just shoot me an email, askcarlaramirez@gmail.com. If you're looking to start your own podcast, y'all already know. Hit me up, ideatolaunchpodcast.com. get that course or do a VIP day with me. I can produce your pod if you already have one. We can do a consultation call. Oh, anything podcasting, just schedule a clarity call. I got you. It's $20, 20 minutes, and we can figure out how I can help you best. And just support the pod. Leave a review. Tell a friend to tell a friend to leave a review, to subscribe, to listen. And I hope you have an amazing day. It is Memorial Day week. Hopefully you didn't turn up too much because got to go to work and the bills are due in a couple days. Have a good weekend. Bye. Or week or day. Whatever. Goodbye.